Hey there, besties. Thank you for stopping by. I am MICHONDENYSE. Let's go ahead and talk about this opinion piece from the Washington Post. You can see who wrote it. Shout out to Karen Atia, who gives the opinion that white Southern women are holding us back. Now, who is us? Child, come on now. We already know who the us is. But let's go ahead and not assume. Hear what Karen Atia got to say and see if it's anything new, okay? Pour one out for us in Texas. We're really hurting this week. Oh, this is from November the 11th, so I'm only going to assume that this is in reference to the elections. So this newsletter is a little on the short side. The state voted overwhelmingly Republican during Tuesday's midterm elections, even more so than in 2020. Incumbent GOP Governor Greg Abbott soundly defeated his Democratic challenger, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. Republicans also retained all of the major statewide positions, including Attorney General Kim Paxton, who has long been under legal indictment. This idea that black people must vote Democrat has to stop. It has to stop. For people who supposedly are out here saying that they know so much and got all this education, they are so stuck in the same old ruts. Now, I don't know what's going on in Texas because I do not live there, and honestly, I do not care. But what I do know is that Beto O'Rourke is definitely one of the give. And just because someone wants to give for the free, don't mean that everything that you get for free is always good. No offense against Beto O'Rourke. Here we go. Somebody in Texas likes Greg Abbott. I do not know what's going on with him because, again, I do not live there, so I do not care. But let's continue. Before I begin, I know what many of you think, that Texas should be given back to Mexico. Did Texas belong to Mexico, y'all? You know I don't do history. Y'all let me know. Or at the very least, that none of y'all would miss us if we seceded. Yeah, I read your comments on my pieces. Guess they don't really like you, child. It's true that Texas's statewide outcomes seem even more hopeless for Democrats here. Not hopeless, child. Considering that a red wave slaughter of Democrats did not materialize nationally as many pundits predicted. But to be honest, it's hard to feel happy about a smaller than predicted national tide when Texas's red ocean levels only seem to be rising. Well, let me tell you what I do know about Texas. Staunchly Republican. So you don't like it, you can always move. What are they doing so badly in Texas that black people, specifically black women, since it's a black woman, given this opinion piece, what are they doing to y'all down there in Texas? And if it's so bad, why do y'all stay? Anybody in Texas, please let me know. Because Karen seems to think it's an issue. But what black women don't think that somebody else is their issue and not take a look at themselves? But let's continue. The question a lot of non-Texans are asking is why? Why would the state re-elect the same leadership after our deadly power grid failure, after Uvalde school shooting, after the criminalization of reproductive rights? Well, before we even go on, I will say, I would assume that they can understand that some of these things are not necessarily the fault of the governor. As far as the school shooting and how they handled Uvalde, isn't that up to the sheriff and the police, which is not necessarily something that the governor controls? So if the sheriff, I believe, or whoever handles the police was up for re-election, the question is, did you re-elect him or her would be my question. So the criminalization of reproductive rights, that did not just happen in Texas, that happened in several other states. And if I'm not mistaken, again, I could be wrong because I do not pay attention to Texas like that. Because they are staunchly Republican, I would assume that that means lots of Christians who didn't want to have abortion all over creation. Now, I know that we've also looked at a few of the Roe v. Wade cases and stories way back when Roe v. Wade was overturned. People was going traveling to Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken, wherever they was going. They was making their ways to get their ABs. So even though you consider it a criminalization, people who needed to get their ABs seem to take the travel to go ahead and get them. Now, I don't know what the power grid failure is, but I'm going to let that slide because I don't know. But y'all can tell me. I'm sure I remember it. I'm sure I heard about it, but I do not remember. So Karen continues, I don't have all the answers. Voter suppression is a factor. Of course it is. It's always something that happened to us black women. Voter suppression. Oh my God. Oh my God. We weren't allowed to vote. We couldn't get there. Somebody held us hostage, kept us in our houses. We had to show ID, whatever. What was it, y'all? You Texans tell me, what was the voter suppression? And there's the sheer size of the Republicans' war chest. Well, it's a state that's mainly Republican, so the odds are it's going to run Republican. You don't like it, leave. Voter polarization is a powerful force. It's tough to overcome all that. White men vote Republican. We all know that. But there's another group that consistently supports the GOP's anti-woman, do nothing about dead kids stance. And that is white women. Seriously, what gives? Here's what gives. Unlike a lot of you black biatches, women will support their men. White women will support their men because that's who takes care of them. For the most part, don't come for me. Their interests are still the same. At the end of the day, they don't want to be in the minority. Shout out to the white people. Let's not lie around here, okay? They're going to go ahead and do what's best suits their whole family, financially and otherwise. So what black people do is focus on things that make them very, very emotional. And they then try to bring in morality and humanity into these situations when unfortunately that's not how politics typically works. Ain't no humanity in it for the most part. So you can go ahead and you can vote thinking that they must be mad about this. They must be mad about this. They're going to change. And y'all keep doing the same things over and over again to your own detriment instead of looking at the picture as a whole. You're going to sit up here and then try to say, it's this, it's that, it's this or that, this or that. But what it is white women are going to side with their white men. They don't care about you black biatches. Yes, me included. Okay. And the sooner you realize that, then the sooner you will understand and know how this works. So if black women ever decided that they wanted to go ahead and go along with their men, then maybe they could have some sort of a voting block that would make a difference. But we all know that's not going to happen. So instead, you'd rather get out here and shame, blame, and make somebody else explain as per usual, become the victim. Oh my God, voter suppression. It's not right. It's not fair. How could you not care about dead kids? And I'm not saying that people shouldn't care about that. And that is a horrible situation. I'm not making fun of that at all. I'm just saying this woman thinks that emotional responses work for everyone, and it doesn't. It only works for you biatches because you're so emotional. And instead of looking at things from a logical perspective and taking your emotions out of it, that's why you keep losing, fumbling the ball, and looking like you don't know what happened, like somebody left you in the dark. Pay attention. Stop being so daggone emotional. And just because you care about it, it don't mean that everyone else does. You keep getting fooled by these women, these white women. Shout out to the white women. They're going to side with their white men, period, point blank. And for all the black biatches that want to be with white men, you should be going along with this because this is what you want. If you want white men, you got to support them. You don't want black men, you don't support them. Now the white women support their men and you're mad at the white women for supporting the white men that you want. Make it make sense. I do not understand. Crazy, foolish, deranged. Y'all do it to yourselves. Every time. Go ahead, keep waiting on Democrats to just keep giving you stuff because that is the only lore. It has to be the only lore. I don't see anything else that's wonderful that you all are supporting it to the nth degree. Because they're giving out free money to any old body, increasing food stamps, giving you 25 million different things for single mothers. Yeah, I said it. And then you want to turn around and not understand that white women's interests and black women's interests are not the same. And you keep getting fooled by that. They are not in the same category. So black women, while you out here talking about we got it going on, you ain't got it going on. Remember, like I said, you are this much above black men on this pyramid chart, and you think you done made it. And then things like this are showing you that you ain't made nothing except the same mistake over and over and over. So it says voter ethnicity, race, and gender for Texas governor. White women voted for Abbott 64% of the time. White men voted for Abbott 69% of the time. Latinos voted for Beto 62% of the... Well, they're your ally right there, Latinos over in Texas. And that makes sense, you know, that they would vote overwhelmingly for Beto. So Latino men, 53% Beto, black women 90% Beto, and black men 78% Beto. I'm surprised you're not going at the black men for not voting enough for you. But let's not miss this over here that 22% did vote for Abbott as well. So what you need to be doing is looking at this 22% and seeing what you can do to align with the black men. But we all know that's not going to happen. We all know that's not going to happen. But these white women done told you, I'm sorry, right here, the white women didn't. So the white women is right behind their men. Like they're basically neck and neck. Look at this. Black women, 90% still on a Democrat train. Child, y'all will never learn. But if you ain't voting for Biden, you ain't black. So white women, 64% voted for Abbott. Okay, yeah, his name is Abbott. About the same numbers that white men did. Yep. Black women, on the other hand, went 90% for O'Rourke. We held it down as usual. Held it down, girl. Keep holding it down and stay down and don't move and have the same results. Then be mad, then blame, then be a victim. Same old story, different black biatch. A similar story played out in Georgia's gubernatorial race, in which white women overwhelmingly voted for Republican incumbent Brian Kemp, and black women voted for his challenger, Democrat Stacey Abrams. So in a governorship in Georgia, we have white men voting 76% for Kemp, white women 72% for Kemp, voting right with their men, basically the same. Black men turned out for you biatches and voted 84% for Abrams. Black women, 93% for Abrams. Latinos, about 50-50, honestly, men and women between the two. So maybe you should have been out here talking to Latinos. And then all the other races at 50% as well. So this is where you missed out. Y'all need to go ahead and always assume, but you don't listen, but you need to go ahead and always assume that white women going to do the same thing as their white men, because that's how it should be. Y'all are the defiant ones, okay? You see these Latino men and women, basically the same. You carried on about the black men and what they don't do, and they still voted with you, never satisfied. You need to get out here and listen, I'm not a political person, but the odds are you need to get out here and get to these people for next time. But at the end of the day, if it's Stacey Abrams, good luck to you, because she does not encompass all people. No one would ever go around and say that Stacey Abrams needs to be more all inclusive. Nope, would never say that. She just assumes your vote and y'all fall for it. Y'all just willingly go out here, swear you know so much, college educated and all that, and still make the same damn mistakes with the same damn results and still turn around and cry victim. Phew, child, it must suck to live a life like that. Everything in the world in your life is wrong and it's everybody else's fault. Continuing on. And of course, we all remember that a majority of white women voted for President Donald Trump. Exactly, because that's what they gonna do. Why are y'all doing this to yourselves? Pay the F attention. Sheesh, you are the only defiant ones out here, and that's why you suck in so many places. There's a lot of focus in media circles on how Latinos will vote. There's long been an assumption that an increase in the number of non-white voters could dislodge the GOP stranglehold on my home state. It's not gonna happen. Let me tap the mic for you. It ain't gonna happen, Captain. But the reality is, Southern white women are the lady foot soldiers of the GOP's agenda. No, they are the foot soldiers for their men, for their white men. We will not get free until that changes. Girl, you crazy. Look at that. See, statements like that are the things that black women fall into, and then they feel put upon, and woe is me, and that's where the victimhood comes from. We will not be free until that changes. White supremacy, racism, discrimination. That's all I hear right there. You hold yourselves back. You hold yourselves back. There is, of course, a long history of white women serving the conservative agenda of the Southern patriarchy. Duh. I mean, the United Daughters of the Confederacy and their funding are a large part of why many Confederate monuments still stand in the United States. If there was ever a time for white women to mobilize at the ballot box, it should have been this year that Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization overturned abortion rights. I've seen and reported on black women who are fighting for all women's rights, children's rights, and better education, and yet those favors and efforts are not returned to us, and has continued to happen year after year, over decade, and y'all still sitting around waiting for that to change. But y'all know so much. You got it going on. You have all the answers. You know everything. You can tell everyone else what to do, and you are failing at your own admission right damn here. They are not going to do anything for you, but black women keep being out here fighting for everybody else, and all the people that they fighting for, don't be fighting for them. Don't be supporting them. Don't be siding with them. Nothing. My mother has even told me that is specifically when it comes to women back in the 70s and the 60s. And now it is 2022, and you biatches are saying the same daggone thing, falling for the same banana in the daggone tailpipe. Will not get out of your own daggone way. And you know what? No one feels sorry for you. You keep continuing to fight for everyone else when no one fights for you. The people that you should be aligning with and siding with are your men, like you see that white women do. But you are shooting your own self in the foot at every turn. Everything that you are doing is going against the grain and making you walk up a steep ass hill for nothing. And then turn around and talk about how you're so put upon, how it's not fair and it's not right. Oh my God, white supremacy, discrimination, and racism. Honestly, that's not what it is. What it is a defiant attitude. People who don't want to work with their own. People who swear they know the answers to everything and are going ahead and saying what's going on and not even recognizing and realizing it because your mind is so ingrained to go ahead and go to these three things and blame instead of reevaluating and looking into what the heck it is going on. It's very, very mind-boggling. Very mind-boggling. White women's political behavior, especially in the South, make it difficult, if not damn near impossible, for meaningful change to occur. The racist of course, white supremacy, discrimination, and racism. The racist, misogynist, and anti-LGBTQ forces in the GOP have been banking on this for a long time, and they are clearly still reaping the rewards. Oh my God. Oh my God. But you know what? Ain't no need in reading anymore. It's the same old story, just a different black biatch. You cannot work with people. You cannot work with people who don't even want to recognize where they're doing anything wrong. That's why black women keep losing in so many arenas. You can't tell them that just because they say it, they think it. So if they say that they're not, then it's a not, even though we can see by all the numbers that they are. But y'all go ahead and keep doing the damn thing. And while you keep getting the same results, we will continue to sit here and watch and judge and laugh. That's it. That's all. If you made it this far, I do appreciate you. Please consider subscribing. I will see you all in the next one.